Baking is a dark and lonely life sometimes. Creating new recipes is hard. You have this great idea, it's gonna be perfect and amazing. You're gonna package it all up with a little pretty bow on top, and you're gonna give it to all your friends and family, and it is just gonna be amazing. But then you end up with cupcakes that look like this. You understand that feeling. You've been there before, haven't you? Welcome to the fancy cakery, welcome to my kitchen. So then what do? You spend some good old therapeutic time wrapped up in your blanket, swearing you'll never ever bake again. But you know you're gonna have to go right back to that Kroger and get you some more ingredients, and you gotta go again. And second time's the charm, right? No. You just have more ruined cupcakes to add to your cupcake freezer bag graveyard. You don't have a graveyard in your freezer? I have a graveyard in my freezer, and I recycle them. There's always trifle. You can always make a good trifle. So after you realize you've already done 2 batches and they're both failures, what do? How do you go on? You get yourself in a tub with some rose petals and you sip your wine and you figure out how you are going to fix this. You go back to your Kroger and you get some more ingredients, or you could be smart and buy in bulk, but I haven't got that down. So this was my idea. I wanted to make a strawberry cream cheese Danish cupcake. I wanted the filling to be thick like the Danish cream cheese filling, and I kind of wanted that texture of the cheese, the cream cheese, in the middle of the cupcake with the strawberry, and the nice cupcake texture around this cream cheese Danish filling. That was my idea. I was determined that this could work and I could make this happen. So there were a few things that went right. So my homemade strawberry jam absolutely came out right. You don't have to buy the good strawberries. You can get the ones with the blemishes because you're going to be cooking it down. So that is actually the perfect ones to get. You're gonna just cut them up. Doesn't matter how big or small. You're going to blend it anyway in the end, and you're gonna boil it with some sugar. I say maybe 2 tablespoons to 3 tablespoons of sugar per cup of strawberries, more or less, depending on how sweet or unsweet you want your jam. And of course I could get a bigger pot, but you know, making the mixing easier, but no, let's just do this like this so we could have a harder time and put the sugar all over the stove. Why not? You're gonna just simmer that down until it's nice and bubbly and the strawberries have softened, and then you can either put it in your NutriBullet, your blender, or you can get an immersion blender and you can just blend that down, and you're gonna continue to cook that until it's as thick as you want it. Some people like their jam thicker than other people, and then if you want to use this in another way or for another recipe and you need it thicker, you can just continue to reduce that down until it's as thick as you want it. And you're gonna pour that into a bowl, and if you need it right away, you can put it in the freezer and just stir it every now and again for 15 to 20 minutes until it cools down, and then you can use it, or you can just store it and it'll cool on its own, and then you can refrigerate it in an airtight container until you need it. Oh, and of course you can always freeze it. And as you can see, it is the perfect consistency, a perfect jam. And I am so proud of my cream cheese filling. I will tell you, this is gonna be a go-to. I am gonna do a real cheese Danish, and this is gonna be my filling. You just take cream cheese, lemon juice, sugar, 1 egg yolk, and it is the perfect consistency for a cheese Danish. This is one part of my recipe that went right. My first set of cupcakes tasted really good, and they held the filling really well. They were pretty dense and they were pretty dry, although the taste was there. And what I did, I put a scoop of the batter to the bottom. I put a scoop of the cream cheese filling and a scoop of the strawberry jam, and then I put another scoop of the batter on top. And that's how I did my first set. So my second attempt, I saw this recipe on YouTube where you just put everything in the mixing bowl. You put the butter, the sugar, the flour, and everything, and then you combine it, and then you just add your wet ingredients and you combine it. And in my mind, it was like, I don't think this is gonna work. But my heart was like, no, it's on YouTube. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna work. It didn't work. It was horrible. It was just horrible. But it did taste good. Again, it did taste good because I had my flavors right. I just couldn't get the consistency of the batter correct. So my third try was the charm. Not exactly as perfect as I wanted it, but I think the cream cheese filling is a little dense and it's going to make the cupcake itself a little dense. I just used my own recipe and I just changed a few things, and I will link it below. I just used a bigger scoop of the batter and I used my piping bag to put some of the cream cheese filling so it can be an even amount. And then I just put some strawberry jam on top, just a dollop. And for the remaining of the batter, I tested it where I just put the cream cheese in the batter and I swirled it with the jam, and I just swirled it. I'm sorry my video is not the best, but I only got 2 hands and I'm trying to hold the camera and hold the scoop and hold the bowl. And here are my cupcakes. They're beautiful, they're soft, they're moist. And all of my friends came over and they tasted them and they were like, oh, these are amazing. We just had a party, we danced and we laughed. In my mind, this is what happened. My 3 tries were worth it. I got the results that I was looking for in the end. They are delicious and you have to try them. You can take out the raw egg yolk in the cream cheese filling, and you could just put a hole in your cooked cupcake and then you can fill it with the cream cheese filling and put some strawberry jam and then cover it with buttercream, and that'll work as well. But of course I wanted to try it the hard way. And if you didn't already subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss when I turn all those cupcakes in my cupcake freezer graveyard into trifle. Nice, delicious trifle. And join me next time in the Fancy Cakery, and whatever you do, bakers, whatever you do, don't you ever, ever stop baking.